Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Todd, and I'm a nutrition entrepreneur. I spent 7 years as a side hustler before diving into entrepreneurship full time. Before making the leap, I was bringing in 6 figures through my side hustle. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the 163rd episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, Raise Your Income with Todd. I'm so excited for this episode. I am featuring my own business coach, Greg, as we talk all about how to raise your income. Give yourself a raise, make more money, work less, make more impact. It's a really fun conversation and I hope that you enjoy it. What you're going to be hearing is coming from the Dietitian Side Hustle Facebook group. We did a live today and I'm taking that content, bringing it to the podcast. So you might hear me talk about Facebook and the podcast because the intention was for it to go on both platforms. So if you are listening to this relatively close to live, I want you to go to katiedodd.com. That's my Linktree page. Click on the very first button and that's going to help you sign up for the Raise Your Income Challenge. I'll talk about it more in this podcast episode, but the challenge that Greg is hosting is going to be from August 28th to September 1st. It is a completely free challenge, 5-day challenge called Raise Your Income. Same name as the podcast. Easy to remember. And the event, it is free, but I'm an affiliate. And what that means is you're going to get some amazing affiliate bonuses from me. I want to get so many dietitians joining this challenge so that way we can go through it together as a group. You know, I am in Greg's paid programs. I pay a lot to work with Greg, but I still love showing up for these challenges because I think we all need that motivation, inspiration, mindset shift, that continued momentum to move forward in our side hustle and businesses. So I will be there at the challenge. I hope to see you there too. Go ahead and go to katiedodd.com, sign up through my affiliate link, and I hope you enjoy today's episode. I want to introduce our guest that we have on today. I know I included this in the email earlier today for those of you who saw it, but I'm so excited today to bring Greg Todd, my business coach, to the live show. So I've had Greg on a lot. I'm also going to repurpose this into the podcast as well. I know a lot of you listen to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast as well. So I almost feel like Greg needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyways. So I have been working with Greg since January 2020. I started doing some of his more low ticket programs, continued to work with him over the years, joined his mastermind, and I'm now in my 3rd year of like the full year long inner circle mastermind. I was just with him a few days ago in Clearwater, Florida, where I was with him and his team. He runs Smart Success Healthcare, and it is this amazing company brand movement that helps healthcare professionals become entrepreneurs who are no longer exclusively trading time for money, who are kind of simultaneously building their dream life while making massive impact and money. So I am so excited to invite you into the group and for you to share all of your wisdom. But would you like to share anything before we get started?
Thank you, first of all, for allowing me to be here. Thank you for trusting me with, being on the journey of you in your career. And yeah, I'm just really honored. I feel grateful to kind of just see the path that Katie has taken. And I don't take that lightly. And so thank you so much for that. And thank you for inviting me to be able to talk to your tribe, your people. So I appreciate it.
Yes. And today we're going to talk about, I titled this Raise Your Income. And I titled it this way because next week you're doing a free 5-day challenge called Raise Your Income. Now, we couldn't possibly cover in this live show, in this podcast episode, everything that you're going to cover next week, but I wanted to kind of start the conversation about raising your income, why it's so important, and also why I would love to see dietitians in this audience, in the Facebook group, on the podcast, joining the challenge. You did this challenge, I believe, about a year ago, and we had a good group of dietitians go through it. And I guess I do want to give a quick plug. I want to see lots of dietitians in there because it's so fun when Greg starts asking, what is your profession? There's a lot of Greg's a PT. There's a lot of PTs, OTs, other healthcare professions. But when I see dietitians flooding everything, it just makes me happy. So I want to see lots of dietitians in this challenge. I want to see us take it over. I'm going to be sending out more information about it. I'll tell you more about it. But so let's start with Actually, I'm really curious to know this. Why did you decide to do a challenge called Raise Your Income? Like, what was the whole idea behind it?
Well, because we've never been taught on how to raise our income. That's the reason why. We have been taught that our job is our job.
Yep.
Go to college, get a job, whether you are a licensed therapist, you are a licensed dietitian, and it's going to pay what it's going to pay.
Yeah.
What we have been taught a little bit on is how to save money. And hopefully one day we will have saved enough money so that we could retire and live the golden years. And the reality is that I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe in that for many reasons, but primarily I don't believe in that because it's not really biblically based. I There's been nothing in the Bible that really talks about retirement. There have been things in the Bible that have talked um, about changing what you do as you get older, but nothing about retirement. I don't know a lot of people that have been able to earn their way to wealth. I do believe that money solves a lot of problems, money problems it solves. And I think that whatever I focus on are usually the things that I get better at. And so I believe that it's important for us to focus on how to earn more money, not win more money, not steal more money, but earn more money. And I believe that if we can earn more money, that means that we would have and do it legally, which is how I like to do it. I believe that we will in turn have given more value to God's children. And so I think it's a really important thing to talk about. Here, can I tell you this real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So my daughter and I, there was a day that we came back from Blue Ridge, Georgia. It's in the North Georgia mountains. We came back and we get to the house, and when you've been away for about a week, week and a half, like none of the food in your house is really good, So you're like, all right, get back, it's a long trip back. And you're like, all right, we got to go get some groceries, we got to go get some stuff. So we go to Target. And when we get to Target, we got 6 things. Okay. My 2 older kids, my oldest son and my oldest daughter, they went to the other supermarket, which is a local supermarket in our area in Florida called Publix. And then my daughter and I went to Target. We got 6 things that we put into our cart, and it came up to $97.92. And my 14-year-old daughter said, Daddy, I need to learn how to save more money. I said, no, baby, you do not need to learn how to save more money because you can't save something you don't have. I was like, it is in your best interest to start focusing on earning more money. And I kid you not, Katie, within 2 hours of me saying that, my daughter went home and started saying, how can I earn more money? Can I tell you something? It's not even a week later, and my daughter has now created her own Etsy store on how to, and basically she's creating things like animals and stuff like that, that she crochets, purses and whatnot, and she's selling it on Etsy. All I had to do was tell her to start focusing on earning money. And so since I'm trying to have kids that are legit and legal, she's like, what is something that I can do to bring to the world? She can crochet. She can now sell her products and people can give her money in return. And so I think that the first thing is we must decide what is it that we want more of and then focus on it. And I don't feel like there's enough emphasis on how to actually make more money in the marketplace. Too many people are struggling with how to make more money so that they can get by. And I feel like I need to put an end to it.
I love all of that. And I remember seeing on social media that story about your daughter, and I thought that was so good. You can't save money you don't have, but that's what we're taught is save more, save more. And that was even the path I was on. My goal was, I've said this before I met you, my goal was I was going to work at the VA, which is a really good job for dietitians, until I was 68 and a half, retire with my pension, retire with benefits. And I quit my job a year and a half ago. But the cool thing about the situation I'm in is I feel like I'm retired. I've been able to build a business entirely based around what I love doing. And even coming back to the part about how you said, like, the Bible doesn't say anything about retirement. I feel like life's awesome. I feel like this is what retirement probably feels like because I have that time freedom. I have that financial freedom and
Right.
I'm able to do what I want with my time. And so anyways, so many things to unpack there, but I love especially what you're sharing with your daughter and how you're teaching her to think differently, because she's at a young age. And so she's immediately 1 week later, how can I solve this problem? You say that to us, we are well set in our ways. We hear it and we need to hear it about 10 more times before we even think about changing. So I love that you are, helping to teach your daughter this now, because so many of us were taught the complete opposite.
Right. You want to know, probably one of the coolest things about coaching is the fact that, it's really been, I've been a consultant since 2009.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been 14 years. But since 2015 is when I've actually been going into people's homes. And it's fascinating to me how over the years, I didn't realize, because I'm on this phone and I'm, on my computer and I'm doing these presentations and this and that and whatnot. I didn't realize how many kids have been listening to me with their parents. I really didn't grasp it. So I don't take this stuff for granted. I know they're not going to learn this stuff in school.
Yep.
I know that I didn't learn it in school. And so, I just think this is really important. I think we have to change our whole perspective around money. Money is only given to us when we're providing value to God's children. You're not getting money for any other reason unless you're doing it illegally. So I want to be able to serve God's children because I want people to serve me. I'm one of God's children. And so I want to go to a restaurant. I don't want to be served well. I want to, when you come into town and you're coming to work with me, I want you to be served well. I know that when I'm served well, I just feel loved and I feel happy. And I understand that there's a few human needs that we all have. And one of those things is for certainty to be served, uncertainty, which is give me something that exceeds my expectations, right? I know that we have a need for significance. I know we have a need for love. I know we have a need for growth. I know we have a need for contribution. And I know that a lot of those things can happen when I have freedom. And I know that the only way I can get the freedom is if I'm making money. And when I'm making money, I can then give and deliver on those things even more. And I just think it's a beautiful thing. And that's what I want to be able to give people more. And the only way that I'm able to do that is by serving them. And in return, they give me money. So I'm very comfortable with money now, and I wasn't before.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think so many dietitians struggle with issues related to money mindset. And that's why I'm very excited about the Raise Your Income Challenge, because it's going to be a full week where dietitians and other healthcare professionals can get immersed in all of these things about how can you raise your income? How can you, work less, make more, have impact, provide value? And you said it already that we didn't learn this stuff in school. And I think it's kind of a combination of we need to learn it, but then we also need to unlearn a lot of stuff that was taught to us in school that doesn't serve us as we're moving forward and making massive impact and, whatever it is we're going to do.
Right. Yeah. I think we can talk about some of the things that we have learned and some of the things that we need to unlearn, and some of the things that I will teach in the challenge as well. So I think one of the biggest things is we have to unlearn how we can attain freedom. And the reality is that I don't even know if we learned anything bad on it. We just didn't learn anything about it.
Yep.
There's nothing that we learned about freedom. And I think there's three things that I think are really important. When I look at my career, 23 years as a licensed PT, I haven't treated in a clinic in about 6 years, but I think there's a couple things that are really important. I think number one is there's different levels of freedom that I've gotten along my path. The first is clinical freedom. And clinical freedom is when you are able to treat and take care of your clients, again, one of God's children, in the way that you feel like you need to take care of them. A lot of people don't have that freedom as a dietitian, as a physical therapist, occupational therapist, chiropractor, et cetera, et cetera. They are bound by the shackles of an establishment. An establishment could be insurance. Establishment could be a hospital. The establishment could be a government-based place of practice. And they're not able to take care of their clients in a way that they want to. They kind of have to work within a set of rules. And I personally feel like that takes away a certain level of freedom.
Yep.
It's called clinical freedom, right? By the way, that's the first thing I got in 2004 when I decided, or 2005 when I decided to open up my practice. Did I have financial freedom yet? Nope, still broke. Did I have time freedom yet? Nope, didn't have any of that either. I was working more than I was before, but I was happier because I got clinical freedom, right? Okay. Then I think it goes to the next level, which is time freedom.
Yep.
Okay. And time freedom is when, okay, now I have some control of my schedule, some. Okay. And I know for you, when you decided to leave your job, that was one of the cool things is that you had time freedom. You were able to work your schedule around taking your kids to school, right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't have that before until I actually said, okay, I'm going to go and open up my own thing. But even when I opened up my own thing and I was doing it in a traditional way, there was some time freedom, but there wasn't a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
But then when I started to add these different income models, these exponential income models, what I call it, then my time freedom increased. Now I could really start to maneuver my schedule. And if I'm doing something remote, I could do it whether I'm in a car or I could do it around my kid's schedule, around soccer practice, around basketball practice, around this, around that, et cetera, et cetera. And then you hit financial freedom. And financial freedom is where I am making more money, not trading my time for money, than my expenses that I have to live every single month.
Yep.
So this is a really important thing. For you, Katie, you do that through a blog, right? Your blog makes you a certain amount of income, and that income you're able to put into your daily, monthly lifestyle. And you're getting to the point where what you're making there is able to cover a good chunk of your lifestyle so that whether you decided that you physically are working or not, you would still live. And that's financial freedom. And so the whole goal is to be free, because once you're free, then that means that now I'm free to do the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And so when I'm now free to do the things that I want to do, and no one else is responsible for dictating how I do things, now I'm truly able to live within, I believe, God's calling for your life. That's a really cool feeling.
Yeah. And I love that. And I love how you broke down the clinical freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, because that really is the goal, is the freedom. And I feel like, especially over this past year, I have this increasing urgency of the fact that we only get this one life. And so many of us aren't living up to our true potential or what we were put on this earth to do. And so much of what I know you're going to teach in the next week in the Raise Your Income Challenge is going to be related to getting these freedoms. So that way people can live the life they were intended to live, the life that brings them joy, because they only get this one life. And there's no reason to wait till tomorrow, because honestly, it's not promised. So much of this gets me so excited, not only because I see what it looks like, but I also am experiencing what it looks like. And especially as someone who never thought I'd leave my full-time job, to be able to be living with all these freedoms is such a blessing.
Yeah. I mean, it's really awesome. And it's so readily available to everyone. And there's so many different ways to do it. So it's just really cool. The big term that I like to use for it is to build yourself a 168. This is one of the big things that I think that every single healthcare provider, really anyone in a service-based business, whether you're healthcare or not, can do. And that is, it was probably one of the best pieces of advice that I got. And I believe I got this advice in late 2013, early 2014. And that was this: Greg, whatever you do, productize what it is that you're currently doing right now. Like, well, what does that mean? Productize what you are currently doing right now. I knew that as a licensed physical therapist, the things that I knew were things that I was able to share with people, but they had to be in front of me. And I never productized it. And that's called building a 168. And a 168 means that I am bringing value to people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which comes up to 168 hours in a week. And there's many different ways to do that. Katie teaches it through a blog. Somebody can come to her blog at 1 a.m. in the morning, and it doesn't wake Katie up. They can come to her blog at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it doesn't wake Katie up. I'm assuming she might not be sleeping at a time, but what if she's taking a midday nap? Who knows, right? Okay. We're doing this interview in the late afternoon, early evening, and it doesn't say, hey, blog is closed, can't come now until the podcast is over. It doesn't matter, right?
Yep.
She's able to continue to give value to people. And that's 168 hours a week. And when you do that, you're giving yourself more opportunities for people to be able to pay you and get value from you. And that's the whole point, right?
Yep.
And if people can get value from me and I don't have to physically be in front of them, it opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for value exchange, value generation, and income generation. Really cool.
Yes, yes. I love building 168s. I also call them passive income. I know a lot of people in this world, they hear me talk about passive income all the time, but this is really what Greg's talking about, is building something that's making you money 168 hours a week. And that really is the goal, because that's what opens up the doors to give you all of those freedoms. So, oh gosh, I love this conversation. I know I can keep talking with you, but I want to talk a little bit about the Raise Your Income Challenge. And I want to let people know a little bit more about how they can get signed up, but then also the affiliate bonuses, I'm throwing in for them. So the Raise Your Income Challenge is going to be next week. That is August 8th through September 1st. I'm going to drop a link for you. It is katiedodd.com/RYI. If you can't remember that, just go to katiedodd.com. It's my link tree. It's the first option. If you go there, it's going to have a little bit of information about the Raise Your Income Challenge and the affiliate bonuses that I'm providing, and then the link to sign up. It is an affiliate link. Completely free, but there are options for upgrades. I actually highly recommend the upgrades. They're pretty awesome, but it is an affiliate link if you guys do click on it. So the bonuses that I will be giving you guys for this challenge are going to be 3 things. You're going to get access to the Raise Your Income dietitian community. This is going to be a community full of dietitians going through the group together. What that looks like, we are in a Facebook group together. I'm going live every day. You are learning from Greg. You are learning from me. It's kind of like getting 2 coaches for the price of free. You're also going to get my Raise Your Income roadmap. This is just, I like notes and checklists. It's really designed to help you to get the most out of the challenge when you're going through it. And then finally, after the challenge is all over, I'm going to be doing the Next Steps Masterclass. And I think this is going to be really important. It's so easy to attend something, to be inspired and be like, that was amazing. This masterclass is going to help us take the inspiration, the tools, the resources, put it into action and figure out what are you going to do next. So that way that week wasn't just something that was inspirational, but something that was life-changing. So when you join, you're getting access to Greg, this amazing challenge. I'm going to be there as well. And you're going to get a bunch of bonuses from me. So I'm really excited about this challenge because it is a free opportunity you're offering for healthcare professionals. And it's an opportunity for them to learn how to make more money, make more impact, and really get the freedoms that we were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be really awesome. Sometimes the good news is that it's going to be free. Sometimes the bad news is that it's going to be free. And that can be a tricky thing. But here's what I said to myself in 2015 when, I kind of managed to get to a really good place in my life. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure that I have times throughout the year, not all the time, but I have times throughout the year that I'm going to give my best stuff to people that if they just listen to this, they can make radical changes in their life. Now, many of the people that do my challenge, I could say this. I've had 3,500 paid mentees in my different programs. 98% of them have come through events like this. And so, but the reality is that not everybody becomes a paid mentee of mine.
Yeah.
My goal is just to help tens of thousands of people. And I know that the first thing is just to create awareness for people and get them to rethink what it is that they're doing. That's it. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to Katie. And it was in a very similar type of challenge like this.
Yeah.
And then from there, all these different things happen. Everybody goes in a different direction. But at the end of the day, everybody understands that, wow, this is something that I can do. And it's just really powerful. So I enjoy this. It's a lot of work, but I enjoy it so much. It's so much fun because you just see all the light bulbs just go off for people. And then they create so many cool things. It's just so awesome.
I think that's what I'm excited about too, because, I want dietitians to be at this event, yes, to be inspired, but then also to see what's going to come after, to
Yeah.
see like how it's going to change their life, how it's going to impact more people and just that trickle down effect that happens. And, thinking back to how I came into your world, it was through first it was through a free Facebook Live, very similar to this one. I was watching another Facebook Live, so this could be your moment, guys. But I saw you on a Facebook Live. I ended up joining the 2120 Healthcare Challenge back in January 2020. It was a $97 challenge, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this one's free, guys. But I used that and it just completely changed the game for me. That was the one challenge that totally changed everything. So when you guys think of signing up for Raise Your Income, first off, don't overthink it. Just do it. I know dietitians, we overthink. Just sign up. But also commit to being there because it's free. It's real easy to be like, oh, I'm busy. I got to do this. I got to do that, dinner, all the things. I would recommend signing up, clearing your schedule, commit to being there. Because if you do, this 5 days of the challenge can completely change your life. So I'm very excited for it. I hope to get lots of dietitians in there joining me in this challenge. And yeah, can't wait to see what's going to come.
One more thing about dietitians. I have to say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've had an opportunity now to work with hundreds of dietitians.
Yeah.
And one of the things that whether you sign up for the challenge or not, I just want, if you're listening right now, I want to speak to you. One of the unique things about a dietitian is that the majority of your value that you bring to the marketplace is through education. Mm-hmm. It's through education. It's through listening to someone and giving them sound advice on what they can do to change their internal on what they're taking in that could eventually change their external. And some of the most amazing results that I have gotten through the framework, the same framework that I use for dietitians is what I use for physical therapists, is what I use for occupational therapists, what I use for even physicians now that are in some of my different, programs. The same thing is what I use for dietitians. And I have seen dietitians that apply this be able to change their lives the fastest, because of the way that you all are operating already. And so it's just understanding that if there's any group of people that could productize what they have, it's dietitians. It is, to me, the easiest and more clear-cut group to be able to do it with. So please, if you take nothing else from this, please start productizing what it is that you have. And if you don't know how to do that, then come to the challenge and I'll show you how to do it.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for joining today. It's always so fun to have you come into the group. I hope to see lots of people at the challenge. Go to katiedodd.com or katiedodd.com/RYI for Raise Your Income. And I hope to see you all next week.